Thank you, Mr. Townsend.
I'm Dale Otto. I have some land on West Commerce. I had the question on the Green Acres. Thank you for finding out that if we have Green Acres, that can continue. It's grandfathered, as I understand. Yeah, we don't have a problem at this point. We always felt it would be guided towards commercial, and we're just not ready to develop it at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Otto.
Hi, my name is Betty Fahey, and I'm here as a representative of Our Lady of the Prairie, primarily for the cemetery property called Sacred Heart Cemetery. I was at the Planning and Zoning, and I'm just repeating my comments, but I think all of them have been answered. Primarily that the cemetery property is tax exempt. It's also assessment exempt also. And we're concerned that if it's rezoned as commercial, which we don't quite understand why, that it would still continue in that status. So, okay.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, we'll look for a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Motion by O'Laughlin, second by Lang. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you all for your comments. Okay. Now, ordinance 09-06. This is kind of what we were talking about before.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Can I just make one statement? If you make any changes to this map, we will have to make an amendment to the comp plan to the Metropolitan Council. So keep in mind, this was all debated within the past 3 years, all of these same discussions. And this map was what was approved by the Metropolitan Council. So if there's any changes other than what's before you tonight, we will have to go through a comp plan amendment with the Met Council.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I
Yep.
point of clarification on this? At the time that we had these discussions, at the time that we had these public discussions and everything, letters were sent out to people to notify them of the possible changes, correct?
Correct.
So the people in question have already been notified at least once.
Correct. All the people that are being rezoned were notified prior during the comp plan process.
Thank you.
But the residential houses were not, that were already commercial, were not contacted at all.
Councilmember Trost, they would have been notified prior when their zoning changed to commercial. Their zoning changed to commercial, I believe, 1990, prior 98, somewhere in that time frame.
Yes, it was.
They would have been notified at the time they were changed.
They were not told that they couldn't add on to their house in the future. They were told they could add on to their house at that public hearing. And now we changed that tonight, so they should have been notified.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
we didn't change anything. This has always been the way. Maybe at some point in 1990 or 98 or whenever this was done, maybe they were assured that with a conditional use permit or something like that, that they could
Yes.
change it.
Absolutely.
Right.
But now we changed that rule tonight.
No, that's the same rule. Am I right, Mr. Vos?
No, you're wrong.
Okay, well, tell me where I'm wrong. And I'm not
We
trying to
changed-
challenge you, I just want to hear
They
that.
can't get a conditional use permit no more. So I thought that's what we voted on 20
Yeah,
minutes
mayor and
ago.
council is a matter of state law. That's right.
Correct, that
It's
was
not
right.
possible to get a conditional use to expand a non-conforming use.
Okay, very good.
So I want to take all them houses out of commercial that were notified.
What houses are you referring to, Mr. Trost?
Every house on Meridian Street, that's commercial. Every residential house. There's 13 of them.
And where do these houses, they run from where to where?
Mr. Mayor, if you look on the map here,
The brown.
they run from essentially Main Street, or about a block off of Main Street to the south, down South Meridian to essentially where the Belle Plaine apartments are,
Raven Street,
Raven
Street.
Main to
On the-
Raven.
east side of Meridian.
Got it.
The red ones.
Yep.
That is not part of the proposed changes at this time.
What do you mean by that?
We're not changing those properties at this
They're
time.
already
They were
commercial.
already done.
Right. And what you're proposing, Mr. Toast, is to take them out of commercial, highway
That's why
commercial.
I said they should have been able to speak on the last resolution. Their house values are gonna go way down. I could just see it. I wanna buy your house, but you can never do nothing to it. You can't put a deck on it, you can't add a garage.
Right.
But your neighbor can across the street with identical house built the same year, but you can't.
Yep.
You can never put a driveway in. I don't know if you could change a window, I'm sure you could.
Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that proposal, because it's not like we're against spot zoning, because if you go down to Meridian and, what are you there, east-west? One on the road.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a statement?
Sure.
You can do that at a different time, and because it's going from commercial to residential, it's a lower density essentially. You do not have to amend your comp plan. So we can propose, or we can bring that forward
Okay.
to the planning commission meeting.
So amendments to increase density is where we
Correct.
have to amend it. Okay. So that is a relatively simple thing.
Okay?
However, we have other people here that have more complex issues. Mr. Townsend, Mr. Schmidt.
Well,
So,
can we do the easy ones first? Because I have some easy questions for you.
but you're saying, Ms. Rosenfeld is saying to do this at a future time. This is a totally separate issue as to whether we not, or not we adopt the zoning changes. And we can deal with those with assurance from the rest of the council. Mr. Trost, you bring up a good point, and we won't let this one slip away. But in the meantime, we have to approve this
Well, I
thing or not
agree.
tonight.
There has been no changes to them 13 lots.
What's that?
There has been no changes, I agree with her.
Yeah, okay. However, we do have a lot of other changes to think about. And in order to accommodate, say, I mean, there's always, to me, there's this whole question of highest use, best use, to me, is kind of it's a difficult argument, because technically, best use is what you can build on it, how much taxes you can collect on it. That's considered the city's highest use. Versus what these folks are proposing, which is to leave it in agriculture, which does have its own use. It does generate its own income. It does generate some revenue for us. And in the meantime,